is up? What is up, golf sickos? You got to turn that off, Ben. Turn the volume off on your laptop, my friend. You ready to start the show?
I'm ready to start.
We can wait a little bit if you want to wait. I am joined, right for this one, by my human ChatGPT, Ben Boscovich. It's a bit of a ChatGPT show today because if you watch the watch along, you are familiar. I'm just fucking obsessed with it, man. I don't really know. Like I'm tempted to say, it's an under-marketed product, but I think it's like the most popular app in the world. If you are using ChatGPT, this is your sign to use ChatGPT. I'm a history guy, I'm a Wikipedia guy, I'm a Google guy. Now I'm a ChatGPT guy. All those other three are completely obsolete. We're going to talk a lot about ChatGPT today. We actually talked a lot about it on the watch along yesterday because Andy, I'm going to hit this beautiful button, honesty button. That was the single most boring Sunday of the season. And it was this and it was Brian Harman at the Valero, 1 and 2, you know? Daisy, you'll just remember, where were you? Where were you when you watched Cameron Young win the former Greater Greensboro Open?
I was in the doghouse.
This took the cake. I think 7 shots was as close as it got. And we were hoping for Nico Echeverria to make it close. The opposite happened. He shot 41, I think, on the back nine. We were hoping maybe for the largest victory of the season. We didn't know what the largest margin of victory was in the season. We asked ChatGPT. It told us in about 3 seconds. Scotty Scheffler at the Nelson, 8 shots over Eric Van Rooyen. We didn't get that either. We were hoping maybe we were going to get a scoring record. 23 under. No one's ever shot 23 under at the Wyndham. Nope. Didn't get that either. Instead, we got a proper snooze. But there was a little bit of the universe was aligning because we talked a lot about Vanderbilt houses on the watch along.
That's right.
And one of the former Vanderbilt estates was an estate called Woodley in Briarcliff Manor, New York, which is now the clubhouse for Sleepy Hollow Country Club. And who won the golf tournament? Cameron Young, who grew up at Sleepy Hollow Country Club, not from the Bronx. This is a nod to a very inside golf joke of a couple years ago at the 2022 Open Championship at St. Andrews. Cameron Young went to Fordham Prep, which is an elite private school in New York, but it happens to be in the Bronx just because that's kind of where it is. They need to have grass, and that's where the grass is. And one of the well-meaning British journalists asked how a kid from the Bronx ends up on the PGA Tour. So Cameron Young will always be a kid from the Bronx. And now he's a PGA Tour winner. I was reading his transcript this morning, and he said that those last few holes were probably the least stressful of his entire career, and that after he made a few birdies, he bogeyed the first one. I think he birdied 4 in a row to start, like isn't it 2 through 5? He said, I was just ready to get it done. So he did indeed a first PGA Tour win, and as we're going to see throughout the show today, Cam is kind of a unique figure in this game where the betting people, he's a punching bag for them, or he has been in the past, because there was a span of majors through 2022 through 2024 where he had 5 top 10s in 8 majors, 5 of 8. And he jumps off the page statistically. When you watch him play in person, he's one of those guys who like stops you on the driving range. You're like, whoa, I think it's the pause. I think it's how much speed he creates from the pause. Just a sick golf swing. And people bet on him constantly, but he just never got it done. So it became kind of a joke, but not anymore. And this is a reminder of what he's capable of. And he put himself back into sort of the periphery of the Ryder Cup conversation. Remember, there's still 3 big events coming. He's 15th in the Ryder Cup points, moved up to 21st in the world. I still think he's on the outside looking in for the Ryder Cup, but he sort of entered the discussion. A big day for the 28-year-old from the streets of the Bronx. I got to speak to him afterwards.
Did you break him?
No. I tried very hard. To break him, and I failed. But we're going to look at my chat now with Cameron Young. All right, I'm joined by the 1,000th winner in PGA Tour history, Cameron Young. You know, a kid from the Bronx, finally made good, won on the PGA Tour. Yeah. Did you ever doubt that it would happen?
Did I ever doubt that it would happen? Not really. I've won at every stage of golf that I've played in. And, you know, most of my life it was kind of once a year I had like a hot month, and that turned into some good golf. And I had some good months over the last couple of years, but, you know, none of them have quite gotten me over the finishing line. So, never really a doubt. But at some point, you're kind of asking when, and the answer is today.
I think I read Jonathan Wall. Did you switch golf balls recently?
Did. Yeah.
So that, I feel like for a professional golfer, I mean, you change a wedge, you might hit it a couple. You hit your golf ball every single shot. How does that process happen, and how are you able to have confidence in it?
Mostly just because it's very much the same as what I did play. It's really, really similar. There's hardly any difference. So it was pretty quick adjustment. We hit some on – I've hit it periodically over the last almost year, and kind of just been waiting, you know, for that to come to fruition. And, you know, that day was Tuesday, and we did some testing, and I said, let's give it a try. And it's very familiar. It feels very much the same. It sounds very much the same. So some of the chipping and pitching is pretty easy to make the switch.
I saw you talking about yesterday you really want to make this Ryder Cup team. Do you believe that your game would help the team? And pretend I'm Keegan Bradley. Like, why should you be on the team?
Yeah, I think that this week proves what I'm capable of. I think that I've played a lot of really good golf over the course of the last bunch of years in big spots, in majors. I know I've got, just about the most top tens aside, I think maybe fourth or fifth most top tens in majors since I've started playing on the PGA Tour. So I think I tend to show up in big spots, and, obviously like that golf course, it's home for me up there. So, if you're asking me, I think my golf helps. I think it probably would have helped the last time too, but I know I've got some work left to do to prove that to him. And, this is week one of 4 that I have the opportunity to do that. So I've got 3 more.
My last question for you. You're so even keeled out there, but you've won finally. How does Cameron Young celebrate? Are you going to let loose a little bit tonight? I want to hear what it's going to be like.
It's going to be the most boring answer you've ever heard in your life. My family's not here, unfortunately. So if they were, I'd probably be going home to work on bedtime, get my kids to sleep. But, it's instead of that, they're out in California. So I'll probably give them a call and then try to make my way to Memphis. Nothing special.
Just another week on the job.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, man. 1,000th winner. That's kind of a fun trivia question.
Yeah,
Enjoy
it is. I'll take it.
All right. See you, man.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, he was just
overwhelmed with his win.
Overjoyed with the win. But you know what? That's Cam Young. That's who he is as a golfer, or as a person, I should say, on the golf course. Just
consistent throughout.
Yeah, not going to get too high and not going to get too low. Some guys who probably are feeling a bit low today are the guys who missed the playoffs. So there was some confusion online about how this works. So top 70 after this week locked. So those guys are moving on to Memphis, except for Rory McIlroy. We'll talk about that in a second. He's not playing. Then if you're outside the top 70, you go to your points basically carry into the fall season. There's a new points list. It doesn't wipe clean. So if you're in 71st, you're in a much better spot than the guy who's in 125th. It's not like, okay, we all go to the same thing. Top 100 after the fall, so really the top 30 of the guys who didn't make it to Memphis, those guys get their tour cards full status for next year. That's only 100 cards down from 125 of the guys who are already on the PGA Tour this year. Davis Thompson missed it. So he 3-putted from 46 feet on 18 to miss the playoffs, and then changes his whole schedule. He goes from playing Memphis next week to now you got basically a 3-week mandatory break. There's no tour events opposite the FedEx Cup playoffs. I was curious if guys could play the Korn Ferry Tour. And I asked them from the tour, and they said yes if they took up membership on the Korn Ferry Tour. So they have to pay a dues and official. I don't know if they can do that now or if they would have to do it at the beginning of the year, but I think most of these guys are just going to take some breaks because they got to play all fall. So, then he missed it, and Matty Schmidt, I think birdied 4 of the last 6 and made a 25-footer for birdie, and he finished 70th. So he got in. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Carl Phillips, won on tour, rookie this year. So he's good. He's got his tour card locked up because if you win, you're locked up, even not being in the top 100, even if he doesn't finish in the top 100. But it just goes to show that winning an opposite field event is not enough to get into the playoffs. Those opposite field events, it's so important to be in the big tournaments. Adam Scott missed the playoffs. 79 in the final round of the U.S. Open sort of did him in. You have to pounce on tour when you have chances for high finishes. What all these guys say, you need a couple of really high finishes. Adam Scott only missed 3 cuts all year. He had 5 top 25 finishes, but he didn't have enough of those high finishes, so Adam Scott misses it. Michael Thorbjornsen, who won PGA Tour U last year, so he was exempt through this year because if you win PGA Tour U as a college senior, you get the rest of that year plus a whole nother year. He's not guaranteed to keep his card for next year. We haven't seen a guy from PGA Tour U go down because the only guy who's won it before him was Ludwig Oberg, who's won, and David Ford, who's actually been struggling a little bit so far since he turned pro. So is Luke Clanton, by the way, but he's good for next year. So and so is Luke Clanton from getting it through PGA Tour U accelerated. Tom Kim, just a really poor season. Recently parted ways with his caddy. Played in some opposite field events. He missed the playoffs. Joel Damon Needed a two-way T2 and kind of flirted with it. He got off to a hot start on Thursday, shot 61, but stuck in neutral kind of the rest of the week at Greensboro. Did hold out for an eagle on Sunday. Shot 68, finished tied for 15, so he's going to need to grind it out in the fall. Going to be close again. He's currently 93rd. Remember last year he saved it on the last day of the season. Hopefully it doesn't go that late for Joel, but he's got to play a lot in the fall. Max Homa playing all the signature events and finishing outside the top 100 is kind of impressive. I saw Luke Curdanine posted something about his swing being like he's gaining speed. Wow, he's gaining speed.
Slowing down.
How awesome is that? Yeah, there's a man who I just was stunned that he parted ways from Mark Blackburn, and I feel like maybe Mark Blackburn, maybe his phone could be ringing. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know anything. I might be completely wrong there, but it just feels like we've talked about Max Homa so much on this show. To be at the top and change absolutely everything, it's certainly a choice.
He didn't just play in all the SIGs; he played in the other events too.
He played everything. He played everything and just didn't get the points. Nick Dunlap, another guy who is still good with his wins from not this season but last season. But this is a guy who never planned to turn professional as early as he did, and he had tremendous success. Right, 2 wins. I don't think he's regretting his choice, but it's maybe a reason why someone like Jackson Koiven, who we're going to talk about, is staying in school because, with the PGA Tour now and Koiven knowing he's going to eventually be on tour when he decides, maybe there's not as big of a rush. And then Saad Theegala, just a totally lost year. Struggled with injuries. He finished 3rd in the FedEx Cup last year. Yeah. Remember he called that penalty on himself, which actually ended up costing him a couple $1 million. He's going to finish 2nd in the FedEx Cup. Finished 147th, or he's 147th in the points right now. He's good for next year because you make the Tour Championship. I think it gets you like an extra year. He returned from his injury at the Open, missed the cut there, missed the cut at 3M, missed the cut at the Wyndham Championship. So a lot of big names not in the playoffs, but a lot of big names are in the playoffs. We're going to hop into a little segment, not so little, that we call the Knockaround presented by Knockaround. This show is presented by Knockaround, Dan on Golf presented by Knockaround. These are the love and hates. The love and hates. These are a little bit of a polarizing sunglass. Sunglass? Is that this?
Sure.
Pair of sunglasses?
Yeah.
I wear them a lot, and then they kind of go on the bench, and then I bring them back. These are fantastic, and we got a promo code for you guys. If you go to knockaround.com and use the promo code DanOnGolf20, you get 20% off these sunglasses. These sunglasses are like in the $35 range. Stop buying expensive sunglasses and losing them. You almost lost your sunglasses.
Yeah.
You just don't. It's just not something that you want to. I don't think there are certain things in life that are worth spending money on, like mattress, for example. You're spending like a third of your life on the mattress. Sunglasses not in that category for me. And a company like Knockaround, you don't have to sacrifice the quality. You get the design, you get the quality, and you don't have to pay a ridiculous price. So head over to knockaround.com, use the promo code DanOnGolf20. And we've had some people thank us for putting them onto Knockaround. I promise you will not regret it. Okay. Miyu Yamashita won the Open Championship at Royal Porthcawl. Now, there are certain words that roll off the tongue. Porthcawl is just not one of them.
Yeah, Yamashita rolls off the tongue.
Yamashita rolls off the tongue nicely. Porthcawl, not so much. I feel like I have to slow down when I say Porthcawl. It sounds like I have a plum in my mouth. So the women's major winners this year: Mao Saigo, Maya Stark, Minji Lee, Grace Kim, and Miyu Yamashita. Not the names that maybe we would have expected at the beginning of the year. We're going to talk a little bit about that later.
Billboard names necessarily.
Over at the Western Am, Jay Summey won an all-Oklahoma final. It was Jay Summey from Oklahoma. He beat Ethan Fang from Oklahoma State. You might remember Ethan Fang. He was our dog of the week once. He won the amateur championship. Don't call it the British Am because that's woke nonsense. Andy, I'm going to hit the button. What do we think about the name British Am?
Utter woke nonsense.
Not our guy. He hits exclusively cuts. Got to the final. I think he's number 3 amateur in the world now, so he's playing fantastic golf. Charlie Woods played in the Junior PGA Championship. Now I want to call this out. Can we throw that headline up there? This was the ESPN headline on the side of ESPN.com. C. Woods fades at Junior PGA, misses rider spot. That is a bullshit headline.
It encapsulates the problem with being Charlie Woods.
It is. So this is what I want to talk about. I'm not even like a don't talk about Charlie Woods guy. He's Tiger Woods or something, but there's a way to do it tastefully, and this is not it. And I have a few notes about this bullshit headline. Number 1, C. Woods is diabolical. That's just a diabolical shortening of his name. C. Woods. So we're just going with C. Woods now. Like it's just T. Woods and C. Woods.
What would you rather have?
Charlie Woods.
Charlie. Just
I don't know.
name.
C. Woods is just like we're just putting him in that sort of C. Woods category. And then fades down the stretch, pretty harsh for a junior tournament. But the thing that really bothered me, Mrs. Ryder spot, are we not going to mention that it would be the fucking Junior Ryder Cup? Because there were probably a lot of people, like way too many people, who thought that Charlie Woods could be on the Ryder Cup team if he won that tournament.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? Just be better with that headline. I'm not saying we can't cover Charlie Woods, but C. Woods fades at Junior PGA Mrs. Ryder spot. That ain't
a glass half full version of that headline, which is Charlie Woods surges into top 10 at Junior PGA, like promising future.
C. Woods continues strong summer, like just misses Junior Ryder Cup
Charlie
spot.
Woods actually still
Mrs.
good.
Ryder spot? Are we kidding here? Are we going to say Mrs. Tour Championship? You know, he also missed the Masters, right? Like, it's just very, very misleading.
Oh man, he missed all 4 majors this year.
Yeah, Charlie Woods missed the majors. What a loser, you know? Julian Surrey on the Korn Ferry Tour won the Utah Championship. That's a name I remember. I believe he went to Duke. He's played on the European Tour for a while. I want to say he got into some World Golf Championships way back in the day. So congratulations to Julian Surrey for winning in Utah. Jim Knaus, Hard K.
It's Hard K.
It's like Jimmy Hard K. He holed out an eagle on the 4th playoff hole to win the Colorado Open. He is from Colorado, so shout out. That was cool. We like that. Scotty Scheffler. So PGA Tour's moved some money around this year. So it used to be, you know, you win the FedEx Cup, you get $20 million. They've moved the money around because winning the FedEx Cup now just means winning the Tour Championship, and so that's $10 million if you win that tournament. But there's also Scotty got $10 million as a bonus for being in first place in the FedEx standings after the Wyndham, and he got another $8 million for being in first place in the Comcast Business Top 10. I thought those were the same thing. I didn't know that those two were different, so he got $18 million. Money doesn't really matter to this guy, obviously, but he has a lot of it. So I saw a stat. His overall career earnings, including bonuses, like FedEx bonuses, now over $140 million, which we think, wow, that's a lot. That's like 2 years of Shohei Ohtani. Rory McIlroy is not playing in Memphis, and this makes a lot of sense to me for Rory McIlroy. So Rory's in a unique situation. He has all the money in the world. He's already won the FedEx Cup 3 times. I don't think he particularly enjoys that tournament in Memphis. He finished almost dead last year. It is incredibly hot. And with the new FedEx Cup format, the points wipe clean after the BMW. So you just got to get to the Tour Championship and you can still win the FedEx Cup. You don't have to accumulate like points throughout to win the FedEx Cup in the playoffs. And Rory's going to make it to East Lake no matter what. So I honestly, this doesn't surprise me at all. I wouldn't be that surprised if he doesn't even play Baltimore. I don't think he cares nearly as much about like supporting the tour and putting on for the tour after, you know, there was a deal to be made after he put himself out there for a couple of years and he wasn't in the room where it happened, to take a line from Hamilton. They, you know, it was time to make a deal and the adults came in the room and Rory McIlroy wasn't part of it and he was very blindsided. So I think Rory cares about growing the game globally and about being this sort of figure in the game. That's why he's going to play in India later this year and going to play in Australia later this year. But I don't think that showing up to Memphis to make the PGA Tour happy is worth a week of his life that he would rather spend at home. And we finally saw Rory like properly celebrate, it seemed, in the past couple of weeks. And we saw that video of him at the yacht. It was our clip of the week last week. We saw him show up to, I think, the Senior Open Championship at Sunningdale. He looked like he was having a good time. You know, and he talked about this at the Open. He's like, what am I looking forward to for the rest of the year? And he said the Open Championship at Royal Portrush, and he said the Ryder Cup. He did not say the FedEx Cup playoffs. So this makes a lot of sense. And this is not like a worrying trend for the tour. He's the only guy who's not playing, but it makes a lot of sense for him not to show up to Memphis and get another week of rest.
I agree. I wanted to ask you, like, if he doesn't show up until East Lake, like, what are the implications? He just loses out on, like, some FedEx Cup points that might drop down to like 4th or something? So
there's another bonus that is another round of bonuses that is handed out after the BMW, because that's the end of the cumulative points for the FedEx Cup season. So he would drop down in that and maybe not get the bonus, but there's
no risk of him not being qualified for East Lake, so he doesn't have to.
Zero risk of him not being qualified for East Lake. And I just don't know that another, $2 million or whatever it is, at a certain point, it's like, what is this worth to me, right? Is my rest and being in a good mood and being, feeling like I'm ready to go for the rest of the year, is that worth? Apparently it is to him. It's worth.
If he doesn't win the Masters, do you think this changes?
Of course it changes. Yes. And he said before, like, it's all great, winning another FedEx Cup. If you didn't win the Masters this year, another year without a major, he wants to add something to them. He's done it all this year. This is the best year of Rory McIlroy's career, not because of what he did, because he finally did it after 11 years. And so I think everything's gravy, and he said everything is gravy. So doesn't surprise me that Rory's not playing Memphis. This came across my desk. There's a guy who's got an 18-inch putter. Can we show what's going on here? Look, I'm all for doing. I shouldn't say I'm all for doing whatever it takes on the golf course because I have very sweaty hands. I wear one rain glove. I've toyed with the idea of trying two. I feel like it would maybe improve my golf game, but there are just certain lines that you don't cross. Like I'm not going to be a two rain glove guy. And Tommy Two Gloves, you know, he had some struggles off course. I don't want to be in the same, you know, I'm not trying to pay homage there or anything. This is just a little too far for me.
Oh, I see.
It looks like a toy. It looks like a toy.
My problem is his routine. I think he takes a long time before this. There's a longer video.
Yes, he takes a long time before this, and he uses an 18-inch putter.
I've played some golf in southwestern PA with some old men who have putters that are that short, and you see them just like they have a completely 90-degree angle.
That's impressive for an old man to get down low enough to use an 18-inch putter. A guy who is not old at all is Blades Brown. Just a shout out. He got into the Corn Ferry event through the Monday this week and had a strong finish, and now he gets special temporary, so gets to keep pushing now for a PGA Tour spot. A guy who turned pro at 17, eschewed, I love that word, college golf in order to turn professional, which raised a lot of eyebrows because most of the top players go to college, and a lot of them stay in college, like a Jackson Quaven, who again we're going to talk about. But yeah, shout out to Blades Brown. All right, we're going to jump into some major season takeaways. You know, it's been a couple weeks since the majors wrapped up. Wanted to let that marinate a little bit. So I'm going to have 4 and you're going to have 4. Just takeaways, things that, you know, we've been thinking about. Number 1, Scotty's greatness feels extremely sustainable. And I think his faith is a massive reason why. And I think young players will adopt this mentality. There's a group called College Golf Fellowship, which is a group that is basically trying to bring college golfers closer to God. Scotty Scheffler's been involved with it. Luke Clanton has been very involved in it. I saw a post with Sam Burns talking about his relationship with his faith. And do we have Andy, we have a clip of a Scotty presser from earlier this year. Let's roll that.
How do you think I want to be the best I can possibly be? And
wrong clip, but we're going to play the right clip now.
It only lasts a few minutes, that kind of euphoric feeling. And I like to win the Byron Nelson Championship at home. I literally worked my entire life to become good at golf, to have an opportunity to win that tournament. And you win it, you celebrate, get to hug my family, my sister's there. It's such an amazing moment. And then it's like, okay, now what are we going to eat for dinner? You know, life goes on. Is it great to be able to win tournaments and to accomplish the things I have in the game of golf? Yeah. I mean, it brings tears to my eyes just to think about, because it's literally worked my entire life to become good at this sport. But at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not out here to inspire the next generation of golfers. I'm not here to inspire somebody else to be the best player in the world, because what's the point? You know, this is not a fulfilling life. It's fulfilling from the sense of accomplishment, but it's not fulfilling from a sense of like the deepest, you know, places of your heart. You know, there's a lot of people that make it to.
And I look at how he reacted when he wins majors versus how Rory reacted when he won his major. And Rory, it was like this massive adrenaline dump, and it took all of this out of him. And it feels like it took a month for him to like get back to normal, whereas Scotty says 2 minutes later he's back. And I think his faith is a real reason why. And I just hearing, you know, we're at the point with Scotty where people are starting to ask other players about his greatness because he's that good. And I think a lot of them speak, I don't want to say with envy, but almost with admiration about how important his faith is. And I remember Justin Rose at the Open was like, he's got these two rocks. He's got his faith and his family. And it seems like that allows him to be the number one player in the world and continue to win golf tournaments without having it be this like crazy taxing experience. And I saw this clip, Bible Caddy, I think it's called, the podcast, Scotty talking about how important his faith is to him. And I think a lot of college players are going to try to emulate this. Let's roll that clip.
How do you think I want to be the best I can possibly be, and I want to walk humbly as a godly man at the same time?
I felt like I was created just an extra competitive guy, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it can become a bad thing when I'm looking to whatever it is for that satisfaction.
Right.
So when I'm out there and play golf, for those 5 hours I'm out there on the golf course, I'm competing to the best of my abilities. But when the round is over, you take your hat off, shake hands, and we're friends again. But when we're out there competing, I'm competing to the best of my abilities. And I don't think it's a bad thing at all to be extremely competitive, as long as you're gracious in winning and in defeat.
Again, I think this is going to be I think we're going to see more and more young players, just like, Tiger Woods inspired a generation to take care of themselves in the gym.
Yeah.
I think that Scotty Scheffler is going to inspire a generation of golfers to take care of themselves spiritually.
I totally agree. And if not spiritually, at least like minding balance in your life and work-life balance. I think something you said that really hit is the difference between Rory's reaction to winning a major and his. Like, Rory let a bunch of stuff go. Scotty doesn't carry that stuff to begin with. So he has nothing to exhale about. He like sets himself up at stasis.
Well said.
Which is
okay,
beautiful.
Your first one.
I'll stick on the theme because one of mine's about Scotty, but I'm reminded not only this year, like this unbelievable 2 years from Scotty in a row, how good Tiger really is. Yeah. Like the numbers still pale in comparison.
They don't make sense,
and it's crazy. But I do think what I took away from this season with Scotty is that he's achieved what no one else has. Even Rory, you know, you rank him second in the post-Tiger era.
Well, that was after the Masters. So much has changed since then.
I would firmly put Scotty in that place just because of the expectation that he brings. Like Tiger, if he was playing a tournament,
you're putting Scotty ahead of Rory all time now.
I am, because I think when Rory shows up to a tournament, you don't expect him to win.
You hope.
You hope he wins. You have a rooting interest for Rory for a good reason because of who he is. Same thing for Scotty, but also you expect him to win. It's like, can anybody catch him is the question.
Well, it's something we talk about a lot, which is like stats versus the eye test.
Yes.
Right? And Rory still has the edge in the stats. He's won all 4 majors. He's got 5 majors compared to Scotty's 4. He's won more PGA Tour events. But you're saying what your eyes saw.
The feeling that you get watching a tournament and knowing that Scotty Scheffler is in it is far different than when Rory is in it. Like, listen,
so your major takeaway might have been how impressive Tiger was. That's like your headline. I'm renaming your headline to Ben Boscovich is putting Scotty Scheffler above Rory McIlroy on the all-time list.
I think that's fair.
All right.
I'll agree with that.
Say it with your chest. My number 2, speaking of Rory, A+ year. No matter what happens now, and I think, you know, we get so caught up in the day-to-day. We do this show every single week. I stream multiple times a week. And it, you know, it felt like the narrative shifted so quickly to Rory is an all-time great to what the hell is wrong with Rory? It just didn't really matter what happened after the Masters this year. It was all gravy. And let's roll the clip of Rory talking about looking for his Mount Everest.
Rory, you spoke after the Masters about needing to find your next Mount Everest. Your last 2 starts have been really, really solid. How would you describe how you're feeling coming into this week, coming into how you came into maybe the PGA or the US Open?
Yeah, I'm certainly encouraged by how I've played the last 2 starts, especially last week in Scotland. It's been... Yeah, I think the 2 weeks off after the Travelers, just to reset, to get over here, bit of a change of scenery, has been really nice. And yeah, like this is, you know, when I was looking at the calendar for 2025, this was the tournament that was probably, circled even more so than the Masters for different reasons. So it's lovely to be coming in here already with the major and everything else that's happened this year. So, I'm excited with where my game is. I felt like I showed some really good signs last week, and feel like I'm in a good spot. And not the last week was a pure preparation week, but it definitely I feel like it put me in a good spot heading into here.
So the two majors that he was like kind of there for were the Masters, which he won, and the Open Championship at home at Royal Portrush, and he finished in the top 10 and was in great spirits the whole week. So A+ year for Rory is my second one. Your second one?
My second one is I would like the slander around the PGA Championship to end.
I'd like them to go to better golf courses.
Yes, I think there is a valid argument that there is a theme out there that they haven't like grabbed and captured yet that could be like a thing.
Well, they don't have the identity. The Masters is the Masters. The U.S. Open is golf's toughest test. The Open is the oldest one on the links. And the PGA is going to Valhalla and Quail Hollow.
Right now. So if they pick something like, we were talking yesterday, like iconic like destinations or like places where people go on buddy trips or something, or I don't know, they need to find that theme. But I think we need to show a little bit more respect for where it stands in our game, the place that it has in our game. I think a big part of that championship is celebrating PGA professionals, which are very important, I think, to the greater game, and we don't give them enough love for that. And I like
20 is still too many.
20 is still too many, but like you have those 10 guys there, it's even more special if it's only 10. And I like the idea of like the pro golfers and the PGA professionals coming together and spending a week together. Like it feels heartfelt and momentous. I think we need to like appreciate the emotion and the history and the pin in our game, that this thing is. And I think it's on us. I think the reason that maybe it's gotten a little flat out there is because everybody comes to the same.
Well, I don't think that the
rally.
I don't think that the venues the last 2 years help. You know, I think going to Quail Hollow, which hosts an elevated event every year, is lame.
But life is
lame
long,
with a capital M.
And there's still time to
capital M. We just put the third letter as a capital. It's lame with a capital L.
Lame.
Lame. Yeah. Okay. You want to put some respect on the PGA's
I didn't think you would
name.
take that. I think that would be one that you would leave, and some other people would leave. But like, it's a call to arms. Like, what if we just flipped our brains, got a little glass half full about it, and try to embrace it for like what it is?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm gonna hit the honesty button here. I get more stoked for the players than I do for the PGA Championship.
That's fair.
Maybe that's because I love TPC Sawgrass.
I might too, yeah.
I love Ponte Vedra Beach. I love the Jacksonville area. We go there. It's a lovely time of year.
Our whole team gets together down there.
Film videos there, which is awesome. You know, we have on-site rights, but
media rights.
Okay, I'll make an effort to put some more respect on the PGA's name. All right, my third one. So the PGA Tour threats about LIV, which was like the major bans, never came true, and yet LIV still really is struggling. I mean, it'll go on as long as Yasir wants it to, but they don't really have an audience. They're losing money, and the PGA Tour can sort of mint stars in a way that LIV just can't. It's that simple. I mean, Dustin Johnson, who we have on the screen now, Brooks Koepka, Bubba Watson, Phil Mickelson, Cameron Smith, these guys are all completely in a different place than they were when they signed. I mean, the only star that they've created is Joaquin Niemann, and all of the discussion around him is what he hasn't done in the majors. So, LIV basically what they told their guys was a lot more true than what the PGA Tour told their guys, right? The LIV said they're not going to ban you from the majors. They're not going to ban you from the Ryder Cup, and they're right. Bryson's going to be in the Ryder Cup. John Rahm's going to be in the Ryder Cup. Tyrrell Hatton's going to be in the Ryder Cup. And yet still, so like LIV couldn't have asked for it to go much better from like an access perspective, and it still just hasn't really picked up. So that's my number 3. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is that I think they nailed it when they reordered the majors. I think this year really it's sunk in that like the Open is the punctuation on the major.
You like it being last,
and I like it being last. I think it's the last one should be held in high regard, right? Like, and be the oldest major in our sport. Like, it all makes sense for it all to culminate at this historic, amazing place.
Yeah, and I think there's already a little bit of pro golf fatigue going on in August. Like, I've just noticed it a little bit the last couple of weeks. Like, training camps have started in football. You know,
like going to Portrush can jolt you back.
But it was July. It was July. So I'm saying now, right now, there's a little bit of fatigue going on, and the PGA used to be like now or like a week away from now. So. Yeah, I think it makes sense.
It's last day and it's earlier.
Yeah,
nice
exactly. I just think it's sort of like it's starting to be football season, and I'm noticing that just like with our numbers and everything. Like people are just, golf is sort of a summer thing, and I think as it drags on into August, not as good. Okay, my last one. And this is shout out to ChatGPT. I want to show the cumulative leaderboard of the guys who made the cut in all 4 majors. So I think there were only 16 guys who did it, and this is very, very interesting because. All this, who's been the best player in the world? You look at the top 4 in this list: Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Xander Schauffele, John Rahm. The biggest takeaway to me is, first of all, Scotty is 21 shots better than anybody else, which is, I'm not a math guy, but that's more than 5 shots per tournament. So that's more than 1 shot per round. Xander Schauffele just whispering to a 3rd place finish in this cumulative major leaderboard. Harris English. What a great major season for Harris English. And Matt Fitzpatrick, despite having a pretty shit season for the first half, he's played really nicely toward the back half. I think he's going to make the Ryder Cup. He and Tyrrell Hatton, and they both finished under par. So if you look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, only 7 guys finished under par cumulatively for the majors. And it's Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Xander Schauffele, John Rahm, Harris English, and Matt Fitzpatrick and Tyrrell Hatton. I think it's good to zoom out and look at that leaderboard for a little while. Daniel Berger, our boy's on there. We just did our On the Bag with him. Might be coming out later this week. We got a really fast editor, so we're working on that very quickly. But yeah, just, Xander won 2 majors last year, and I think everyone viewed this as sort of a down year because you win 2 majors last year. You don't really contend for anything. It feels like a down year, but he's still so damn solid in the majors.
I'm surprised not to see Bryson on this list anywhere.
Well, he didn't make the cut in the U.S. Open.
That's tough.
There you go.
That's tough.
That's why he didn't make the list. Your last one.
My last one is that up until a few weeks ago, I was certain that the Europeans were going to kick our ass in the Ryder Cup, and I've never been more sure that it's actually going to be the U.S.
Okay.
Time. I think, obviously, the home field advantage we had going for us, but I thought the European players were just playing so much stronger this year in general. But like Chris Gotterup being on a rise at the right time, like I don't know that Cam Young will make it, but like him winning this week.
Yeah, we got guys who are winning big events who aren't going to make the team.
Yeah, so there's something brewing that feels very patriotic right now that I'm less pessimistic about our chances.
I like it. USA.
It was also that
USA.
Rory's like last bucket list item is to like beat the U.S. team in a Ryder Cup as an away. Like beating us at Bethpage would like be poetic in that. So I was like, man, it makes too much sense.
He might retire.
Yeah.
He might
be done.
He might be done. He might play only the majors next year if that happens. But okay, those were our major takeaways. I like them. That was a good little wrap on major season. All right, state of Dan's game. I got good news, guys. The state of Dan's game is pretty solid. Ben and I played some golf on Friday. I shot 3 under par. This is my best round in a couple years. And I didn't make a single putt. I was looking outside of 14 feet. So I hit my irons really, really well. As you guys know, I was practicing to play in the Mid-Am qualifier last week. I didn't make it, but I shot 2 over par, missed it by 5, but I was very proud of my results. I was proud of the way I played. I was also proud of the way that I handled myself out there. And one of the reasons was what we did with Dr. Izzy Justice and these neuro hacks. But a big reason why was the Arco system that I've been using. I've told you guys that the smart sensors, I actually don't have them because my golf clubs are at the golf course. But I have the Link Pro here. Let me grab this thing. And, when we were talking about doing this Arco steel, and I said, I'm all for tracking where is my Link Pro? I'm all for tracking my stuff, but one thing I really don't want to do is have to pull out my phone throughout the round. I'm still looking for my...
It's not on the desk.
It's here somewhere. My Link Pro, this is great television. Anyways, I have a Link Pro, and basically all you have to do is put this thing on your hip and you press.
It's no bigger than the honesty button.
You know what I mean? In here, and I'm gonna find it when we run a clip, and I'll come back to it. But you screw in these sensors to your golf clubs. You don't have to have your phone out there. Arcos automatically knows when you hit a certain club, and when you have the Link Pro, all you do is you put it on your belt. You walk next to the flag. You press a button, and it knows where the flag is, and then you're good to go. And it automatically tracks your stats, and you feel like a tour player. There's no mystery. You think to yourself, oh, how am I doing in this area? Well, we can pull some of my stats up here, and it's my actual data, right? Like, exactly how you played in a certain round, and I'm a big believer that information is your friend. So you've got here, I'm gaining in my last 5 rounds, I'm gaining 1.4 shots on a +2 handicap. So I'm playing to like a +3 point something the last 5 rounds. And, I don't feel like anything has majorly changed in my game, but I do feel like having more information is my friend. Now, all of that being said, I wanted to bring back Lou Stagner, who's an Arcos stats guru, to discuss the system, my game, and the Mid-Am qualifier. So can we bring on Lou Stagner? Lou, we talked about this in the DMs a little bit. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at my data, but I think I made some strategic mistakes.
I think, well, first, before we get into that, we have to say you played well. You played great. I looked at your last 20 scores, and this event, which was a USGA Mid-Am qualifier at a course you're not super familiar with, it was your 4th best differential out of your last 20 scores. So you played really well, and we absolutely need to celebrate that. Wasn't the outcome you wanted. I know you wanted to get through, but you played really well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I wanted to talk to you about this because there's many things you can use Arcos for, and I think I dropped the ball on one of them, and that being preparation for the round itself. So we talked about what I needed to work on. You said go drill the hell out of your short game and your putting. I did that. Actually, I think I gained putting. But one thing I didn't do was use the system to help me map the golf course. I felt like I played really scared. I felt like I hadn't seen the golf course, which obviously you'd prefer a practice round. But with Arcos and stuff like this, like, you don't necessarily need to, because you can map it out and know exactly what the optimized target is or the optimized club is. And I just kept hitting my driving iron on like 430-yard par 4s because I was so afraid of like a fairway bunker. And we talked about this, like that, you can't be giving away that much distance, right?
Yeah, you can. Especially you. When we spoke last time, one of the things, we've never played golf together, but I could look at the data and I could tell that your driver is a pretty solid strength for you for the most part. You hit your driver typically pretty well. You have plenty of length. And there were a bunch of holes where you chose to hit 2-iron off the tee, your driving iron. And on those holes, you had plenty of room for the driver, more than enough room for the driver. And you gave up, probably 50, 55 yards in some of these situations with your 2-iron. And the other thing that's interesting is you don't hit your 2-iron significantly straighter than your driver. A little bit, but not enough to give up 50 yards of distance.
And that's one of the things where like having this sort of information is vital because, when I was a kid, the messaging wasn't send it. Hit the driver. It was, if you're going to be playing tournament golf, you got to plot your way around there and, you're going to hit way more fairways with your 2-iron. If only it was that simple, Lou.
Yeah, it's definitely, we've learned a whole lot from then, and you want to advance that ball as far as you possibly can. The other thing that's interesting with your 2-iron is your miss seems to be kind of a wipey fade, yes. Really short, right? Yeah, you can definitely see that it stands out. And some of the places where you chose to use the 2-iron, kind of that wipey miss was going to put you in a bad spot. So it's another thing that just kind of compounded on top. But overall, really solid. You putted really well. It was really nice to see that, and a lot of very high ceiling from what I can tell.
But that's I think the indecision that we're talking about, because these holes where I'm not feeling comfortable, right, and there's probably a little bit of doubt in my head. I'm like, is this really the right club? And I'm hitting a 2-iron, so I better hit this thing, in the fairway. And then you get a little defensive, and you get this miss, and it compounds. So we talked about this. Next time I have a tournament, I got to talk to you, and it's not going to be like a get up there and feel like a little bit nervous and then opt for the 2-iron. We can actually go map out the golf course and know what we're going to hit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And some of the holes where you chose to not hit driver, there was plenty of width there for your driver. And the way that I would ask you to start thinking about that, if I put you 5 feet from the hole with a putter in your hand and I made the hole a foot in diameter, like you're going to feel you have plenty of room to knock that ball in the hole. You're going to feel like you're going to do that every single time. Some of the holes where you didn't hit driver, you had 80 plus yards of room from side to side, which is like you're rarely, with the way you hit your driver, you're rarely going to hit it outside of that window. So giving up that 50-ish yards in those situations is just kind of a killer. The good news is you hit some of those approach shots when you did choose to hit 2-iron. You hit some really good approach shots on those holes, but you're not always going to do that.
Yeah, can't rely on flagging 6-irons like I did. Well, thank you so much, Lou. We will bring you back for sure, because I've got the tournament golf bug a little bit. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. I had a great time out there. Alex Bush was great on the bag, but I need Lou in my corner so I don't go up there and see a tree and say, oh my God, I got to hit my 2-iron, and then I tow one 196 yards. We got to get rid of that. All right. Thank you so much, Lou. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan.
Good stuff. Look, if you're serious about making smarter decisions and saving strokes, Arccos is the move, guy. I had a lot of people who have reached out to me because I posted, some of my stats. I posted a little bit of a stat breakdown of the round that I played, and they said, "What is this app?" It's Arccos, and you could try it out free right now. Arccos will send you a set of smart sensors plus a 45-day trial of the app. You can try the Link Pro for free. See your own numbers just like I have. All you got to do is click the link in bio to get started today. Guys, do it. Just do it. There's me hitting driver when I shot 69 with you.
That's right.
That was really fun.
And I got to tell you, I've played golf with you probably 3 or 4 times since you've been Arccosing. Mm-hmm. I've never noticed you pull a device out. We're on our phones sometimes when we're playing, but I haven't noticed you doing anything.
Well, as I said, it was a total deal breaker for me. I don't want to be on my phone, and Arccos understands that. You don't want to be on your phone when you're out there. You want to be focused in the round. I didn't touch my phone once during the qualifier, and Arccos knew exactly what I did. So click the link in the bio to get started today. Fantastic stuff, Arccos. Fantastic stuff, Lou Stagner. Fantastic stuff, Dan Rapp. I'm going to give myself a little pat on the back. Two over in the Mid-Am qualifier. I was struggling to break 80 in Ireland. So we've come a long way.
Then you came back on Friday and you hit, was it 17
out of 18
greens? I hit
17 out of 18 greens. But you know what I also do at Brentwood Country Club? Hit driver everywhere.
That's right.
Because I'm not scared. So we got to stop playing scared golf. Scared golf is loser golf. Okay, guys, I'm really, really excited. I'm just really excited. We've got the return of a guy who was with us for the first probably 20 episodes. Roll the music, Andy. Play the music. month-ish or so absence, Rick Gehman. I don't know where I added a D to his name there. Rick Gehman, give me a winner, is back. And guys, I have fantastic news. He's not just back. He's part of the team now. I said, we can cut the music now, Andy. I said for the whole time that you were, I said, we got to sign this guy up. I said, we got to sign this guy up. And we finally did. Rick Gehman has joined the team. I don't know exactly in what capacity, but we are partners now. You're back, brother.
Yes, it's good to be back. It's good to see you guys. I think the capacity is it's going to evolve over time, right? I think what the great thing about working together is going to be, you guys are going to let me nerd out on stuff that I don't get to. We always are very pro
nerd on this show.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff that I do on like the Rick Run Good YouTube channel, like it expires 24 hours later, right? It's about the tournament that's coming up. I record something on Monday. This is going to allow me to do some larger data projects around the Ryder Cup and create great content around that. Maybe Tour Championship stuff, right? So this is just kind of a foundation where we can do larger, more encompassing data, betting, fantasy type projects, and everybody should have a lot of fun with it.
As good as it gets. As good as it gets. And I wanted to ask you before we started. Cameron Young is like a thing in your community. The tweets yesterday were insane, and the tweets are always insane. What is it about Cameron Young that made him into this like crazy punching bag?
Yeah, so a lot of things. You mentioned it. I was tuning in a little bit earlier, and you mentioned it, right? The metrics are off the chart, right? So when you model this guy, you're like, oh my God, he hits it far. He's got better touch than a lot of his long-hitting peers. He's finishing his runner-ups, guys, or runners-up. We're at like 7 different golf courses, which is an awesome sign. He is not a one-trick pony. It's awesome stuff, and he just can't cross the finish line. So you had this entire community who was just betting him every single week and not getting anything in return. I actually just tweeted this out like 5 minutes ago. I ran the numbers while I was sitting here backstage. If you have bet on Cam Young $100 every tournament of his career, you are still down $3,200. So his odds got short.
His odds got short because of how good he is.
Subtweeting. Yeah, I was just subtweeting the entire golf betting community with that one. Yeah.
You're still losing on this guy. Okay. Scotty's back this week. Week in Memphis. If you guys don't remember, we do 3 picks. Give us your first for the week.
Yeah, so I'll just stay right there. I wish I could be more brave in my triumphant return, but Scotty Scheffler to win this golf tournament. There's a couple of interesting things here. One, no Rory McIlroy, who he's going to eat up 10% of the win equity in his own right. The fact that you get 4 guaranteed rounds, and remember, there is this golf course, every green has been touched at this golf course. A little bit bigger since last year. You usually get more firm greens. There is no one in the world with better distance control and spin control than Scotty Scheffler. I wish I could be brave here, but I think Scotty gets the job done.
So you think he's just
the
expectation. Big, hairy American winning machine. All right, your next one.
Yeah. Okay, top 10, Matt Fitzpatrick.
Playing great.
And playing great is an understatement, Dan. This is maybe some of the best golf we've seen in his career. 4 straight top 8 finishes. The metrics are off the charts. One of the best indicators of immediate success. I call it a complete gain. It is when you gain strokes in all 4 major categories. It says you're kind of bulletproof at the moment. He's done that 3 starts in a row.
Yeah.
And it is just as good as it gets. The history around Southwind is really good. And I like the way he closed. Dan. Second best score on the weekend last week. I think a lot of people looked up and said, "Oh my God, Matt Fitzpatrick finished T8. What happened?" Well, he played awesome on the weekend. So I'm loving the state of his game right now. Top 10 in a field of 69 at plus 240.
Take us home with your third.
This one's a little data-y and a little bit of just kind of a gut feel. It's Emiliano Grillo to finish inside the top 30. The number that I got was plus 105, so just about even money. Emiliano Grillo has always been one of the best tee to green players on the PGA Tour. He has a massive putting problem. He has fixed that recently. He gained strokes putting 3 of them at TPC Twin Cities. He's gained strokes with the putter in like 4 out of his last 7, which I can assure you is a massive deal. And the other thing is he's got, I don't like to get into like the huge incentive stuff, but like he has to have a good week. He's got to grind for me all 4 rounds to make sure that he punches his ticket to Caves Valley. So I know at least I'm going to get kind of a fully engaged Emiliano Grillo to try to finish inside the top 30 of this golf tournament.
Before I let you go, I saw you've got an opinion, you've got a take. Obviously we've got a new format with the playoffs this year where it all basically wipes clean after the BMW. You think they should actually go a step further? Walk us through your proposal.
Right. So this is the caveat to this is without blowing up the FedEx Cup playoffs, right? Because I think everyone wants to blow it up and start from scratch and do match play. I just think that is a bridge too far. There's too many stakeholders to make happy to completely blow this thing up. So under the current system, they got rid of basically the starting strokes or FedEx Cup points mattering at the Tour Championship. Just get rid of them for the entire playoffs. And what that would do is so 69 players in Memphis this week, top 50 on the leaderboard move on. And then next week, the top 30 move on. And then the Tour Championship is played straight up. Here's the thing. You will not have Rory McIlroy skipping events because you cannot skip an event and continue your season. Imagine the drama for a 5-for-1 playoff to get into the next round of the championships. And then I think golf needs to start thinking like other sports. We have in no other sport do you hear the word, like the stars have to be in the finals. Like the stars have to be there on Sunday for television. That's like rigging the system. Okay. Yeah. Indiana and Oklahoma City, like it's the finals. Yeah. That's what it is. They earned
gotta have the Lakers in the NBA finals or the NBA is dead.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like let's own this a little bit here. And quite frankly, if you can't get past the top 50 out of 70 or the top 30 out of 50, you don't deserve to win.
Yeah, don't have a bad week at the wrong time. And I actually think like we took a big step toward this actually happening because I never thought that the players or the tour would agree to what they did with the Tour Championship, where they made it like an actual finals where it's like whatever happens this week determines whoever wins the thing for the whole season. But I think that was a big step. I think it actually could happen.
I think Rick's got the best idea I've ever heard.
You like that?
You get the like sort of bracketology where you like have to move on and things are moving. They're like you have to play, you have to come in the top 50. Then it's not match play, but
and if some guy, and I think also reallocating the money, which they've done, right? Like there's a lot of money now, and they could even reallocate more of the money to the regular season. So you still have like the regular season champion. Everyone knows that Scottie Scheffler is the regular season champion, and then you have a proper playoffs.
Playoff potential.
I just thought it would. I thought like it's a good idea, but if he had pitched this idea, 4 months ago before they announced the new tour, I would have been like, they're never going to agree to that. They actually might. I think you're onto something.
And that's the thing. Like, if you're Scottie Scheffler and you go out in the first round, it stinks. But Peyton Manning has done that a lot in his career, right? We don't just give Patrick Mahomes a pass to get to the Super Bowl, right? He's got to at least win a couple of games to get there, and you'd still make money off of that, right? Like, just allocate the money. We'll figure it out. But there needs to be something where we look back and say, wow, remember when Hideki Matsuyama finished third at the Tour Championship? That should be like the third best season. When you lose in the conference finals of the NBA or the NFL, you were like the third or fourth best team for that year. There's like a very clear, was this a successful season? Right now, I couldn't even tell you who finishes 2nd through 10th in the Tour Championship because none of it matters. It's all made up.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about earlier in the show, like Saad Theegala finished third in the Tour Championship last year. Like, other than the penalty, would anyone have remembered that?
That's right. The only reason we remember it is because it dropped him to third for the penalty.
Yeah. Well, we also have these 4 other events in the middle of our season that's different than other sports that everyone like gears up for the way that other sports gear up for the playoffs and the finals. So we need to like hoist up even further this last thing, so that it can be there with the majors in terms of like what you prep for.
And I will say, I don't want to hijack your entire show, but I will say,
we're partners, buddy. There's no hijacking.
I know. Moving to 70, I think worked out beautifully.
I agree.
It made it a lot.
There's a lot of guys who had like decent seasons who didn't make it, like Adam Scott or like Carl Phillips or even like Michael Thorbjornsen.
Thorbjornsen, you saw him all year.
He had a cut, and didn't make it. It's hard to make it.
Yes, I think it worked out really beautifully. And now let's take that momentum. They're trying something new with the Tour Championship. Like, let's just go. We're very, very close to making this feel like a lot of other sports and getting a lot of drama, and also still making sure that FedEx gets the fields that they want and the players that they want.
Yeah, and also Scottie Scheffler's not going to finish outside the top fucking 50 this week. It's just not going to happen.
But if he does, put him on the broadcast for the week. You'll get viewership.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God, Scottie after this incredible year is choking, and like people would watch that. Yeah.
We would skewer him. It would be great for content, right? If Scotty Scheffler finished 65th in Memphis, we would skewer him.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Doesn't have the clutch gene. Does he have the clutch gene, you know?
I think he's got it.
All right, Rick. It warmed my heart to see you back on the rundown this week.
I know.
I can't wait.
I'm happy to be. We're going to see each other so much more. We're going to do a lot of cool stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun, boys. Thank you so much for having me.
I can't wait. Okay. Another thing I can't wait for is the rank 'em blind. Blind ranking, rank 'em blind. Someone name it rank 'em blind.
Rank 'em blind. Yeah,
it's always in my rundown as rank 'em blind, but I feel like I feel like I call it the blind ranking. Either way, run us through the category.
All right, so this week's category is inspired by our friends over at the Vanity Index podcast, Chad Mum and Wells Adams.
Okay.
They did a kind of a breakdown of like subtle signs that you're playing with a stick.
Okay, so you see this, and you know that the guy that you're playing with is a good player.
Probably keep your dollars in your wallet.
Okay, let's do it. I like this. Is a great category. Let's see it. Mm-hmm.
All right, the first one is like a worn out, either a Ping Hoofer or a Sun Mountain high school golf bag. Like they still got the logo on it. They've got the old head covers in it. You're like, oh, this guy's been playing the same bag forever.
Interesting. The bag is where, so I thought you were going to say like a grip or like an old school putter. The bag doesn't, I don't know. I feel like also if you're living in the glory days of high school golf, like have you done anything since then? I'm putting that number 9.
Okay, wow.
I don't think that's that impressive. You got to get a new bag. Like, your bag isn't helping your golf game. You know what I mean? If you have, like, a worn-out 3-wood, you're like, okay, this guy flushed his 3-wood. A bag? You want me to be intimidated by a fucking bag?
Their priorities are elsewhere.
Okay.
The bag's been there since they were 17. Their game is what...
Number 9, you better step it up.
Number 9 is a Sonar Tech 3-wood. You ever seen one of these bad boys?
Oh, you mean the second one is a Sonar Tech 3-wood. I put number 9 as the worn-out bag. Never seen that before. That looks like, is that like one of the Warrior clubs that I see on Golf Channel late at night?
You would have gotten a Golf Channel ad for this. My best friend Mark played one of these growing up.
I'll put that number 8 too. I mean, you're just saying like that specific club that I've never seen. I expect there to be some better signs up here. I'm putting that number 8.
There's going to be some better signs.
Okay.
Starting with this next one, I think is the telltale sign of a stick. And it's wear marks right in the center of some old blades.
Yeah, blades to start out with, but wear marks in the center of the old blades. That man's been flushing those for a long time. I'm putting that at number 2, wear mark on blades. Blades are intimidating. I don't play blades for a very good reason.
I used to play blades. I was like, why would I not help myself?
Yeah, let's get a little bit of help here. Okay.
All right.
Number
next
2.
up, an unbranded. So think about like a bath towel hanging around a guy's golf bag and not clipped in, but like I made this with ChatGPT.
Did you?
Yeah, I said
this is the ChatGPT show.
That's right.
So Alex Bush had one of these when we did our mid-am qualifier because I forgot a towel, and so I'm actually admitting to a crime here. I want to apologize to the Bear Creek Golf Club. We might have taken the towel from the bathroom to use as our towel for the week.
It was a flex. You didn't even know.
It was a flex. I'm putting that number 5, unmarked towel. There are other towels that scare me more.
What are they?
So Amino Vital used to be a towel that like a lot of like mini tour players would have because it was, I don't know if they got them for free, but it was like a supplement that people would take. So I remember if I saw an Amino Vital towel, I knew that man's played in some Hooters tour events.
He knew he just slept in his car before.
Yes, that's exactly right. And it scared me. Okay.
All right. Next up is the subtle marking of a single golf ball on the tee. Like you see a guy, he just has one golf ball and he's got like a very simple mark on it. And
yeah,
like, okay,
he plays tournaments.
Yes.
He plays tournaments. That's what that means. I'm putting that number 3, simple mark on ball. That guy plays in competition. He's got a Titleist 1 with a red dot. Okay, we'll see where we're at. We are at number 9. We have a worn out bag. I'm not intimidated by a bag. Number 8, we have a Sonar Tech 3-wood. It kind of feels like one of those like chutters, like chipper putter that
you would too young to like.
I don't know what I don't know what that is. Number 5, unmarked towel. Number 3, simple mark on a golf ball. Number 2, wear mark on blades.
Okay. The next one is one I've encountered recently only, not like from growing up, but it's when the guy has the golf glove tucked under his belt behind him, not like in your back pocket. You see how this is like, you ever seen this?
No, I mean, I've seen it now.
Watch
is this
out for
ChatGPT also?
No, this is, Casey Bannon from the Golfers Journal, my buddy Casey started doing this, and I'm like, oh, then I see all these other guys I see on golf Instagram start to do it. I think it's a thing.
Again, this one doesn't really do it for me because I feel like the back pocket is the intimidating one. I'm putting that number 10.
Back pocket, okay.
Glove in belt. Okay, we have 7, 6, 4, and 1 left.
All right. This is an obvious sign, I think. You roll up with your 3 buddies in carts to the tee box, and there's a man standing on the tips by himself.
Yeah,
with his bag.
He's got confidence, but he also might suck. You know, he might be a total hardo.
The key on this one is that he's already there.
Oh, okay.
Like,
so
you guys show up and he's just been there waiting on the tips.
So he's waiting for his he's doing some neuro hacks on the tee.
Neuro hacks.
I'm putting that number 7. We got 6, 4, and 1 left.
Okay, last 3. You got a worn out top 100 head cover on his 3-wood specifically.
3-wood cover, yeah.
This happens to be President Dwight Eisenhower's.
Yeah, I mean, I think this implies that you've had the 3-wood for a while. You know, an old 3-wood is definitely a scary one for me. I'm putting that at number 4, 3-wood head cover. Just you know, you could tell a lot. I always had a theory. I don't know if it was mine, but someone said, like, I feel like I can tell what a guy's handicap is within 2 or 3 shots by watching the way he carries his golf clubs from the parking lot to the clubhouse.
Oh, that's interesting.
There's just, you know, a certain swagger, a certain step. And I feel like, you know, the golf club version of that is the 3-wood. Take a look at the man's 3-wood and you'll see his soul.
That's why I choose the 3-wood and not the driver, because like that's soulful club.
Yeah, I mean, if you have an old driver, it's like, okay, drivers have gotten a lot better. But 3-woods, you know, there's guys on tour who've had 3-woods for a long time.
The head cover also tells you that they were playing top 100s and interested in golf before the pandemic. Which
yes, they're
pre-pandemic. They've been
it's not a Malvin head cover. It's a Marion head cover. Okay, that's number 4. So we got number 6 and number 1. There's one that I have in my head that better be on this freaking list, and if it's not, I'm gonna be upset.
It might not be. All right, so the next one is you're playing a par 5 with this person and they just like hit a bomb drive and they lay up on a par 5 and you're like, you don't understand. It's because they're smarter than you.
It's because they're smarter than you, maybe. Interesting. So we're saying that a guy lays up on a par 5 means that he's a stick.
On a par 5 that you wouldn't think. Like, you as an amateur, you don't understand.
We just talked about with Lou about how we got to send it.
I know. On this whole particular that I chose, I would go for this
I think I would go for it here. Okay, so we're putting lay up on reachable 5 as number 6, and please tell me that the one I want to be number 1 is number 1.
I don't think it's going to be, because I came up with this one out of thin air, but it is absolute stoicism. I made this image too.
Just a cool customer?
Just somebody that is like stoic.
I'll put it number 1. I'll put it like stoic when under par, because I think you can tell a lot by a person. I'm like, okay, they birdie the first 2. Are they like talking about it? Yeah. Are they like sending messages? Are they like, oh my God, I've never been this way? Or
it's a good caveat. Playing well stoically.
The one that I wanted it to be, and I think the number 1 telltale of a very good golfer is a worn out putter grip.
Oh, interesting.
Because people who've had the same putter for a long time kind of scare me, because I change putters all the time and I feel like it's such an easy thing to change.
Me, I've had the same putter since high school.
You don't scare me. But Harris English, like with his putter that he had to switch out at the Ryder Cup, I feel like that's the telltale sign.
You're right, because a lot of pros you'll see have those like strings hanging off of their super
They use it until they literally it's not allowed to use it. But okay, signs of a great player. Number 10, glove in the belt. Number 9, a worn out golf bag. Number 8, a Sonartec 3-wood. Number 7, he's just hanging out on the tips when you get to the first tee. Number 6, laying up on a reachable par 5. I don't really understand that one. Number 5, an unmarked towel. Amino Vital is the towel. That really scares me. Number 4, an old 3-wood head cover, because I think it kind of implies an old 3-wood. Number 3, a simple mark on a golf ball, a Titleist one with a red dot. I like that one. Number 2, wear mark on blades. And number 1, stoicism when under par. Good stuff. That was a good category. I like that.
There's a lot more that we could throw out there.
Well, the putter one, it was a big miss. The putter one was a big miss, but it's okay.
As you know, I've been missing big with the putter.
You've been missing with the putter. We're gonna revamp your putter. All right, we're gonna move into another segment. Our dog of the week this week is the number 1 amateur on God's green earth, Jackson Koivin, rising junior at Auburn. So Jackson locked up his PGA Tour card through PGA Tour U Accelerated before the end of his sophomore season. He opted not to turn professional and to return to Auburn, basically defer his PGA Tour card. He also opted to play pretty much only in PGA Tour events this summer. And not pretty much. The only amateur event I believe that he's playing is the U.S. Amateur. He's played 3 events, his last 3 events on the PGA Tour. Tied for 11th at the John Deere, tied for 6th at the ISCO Championship, and tied for 5th last week at the Wyndham. The broadcast barely showed him, which I thought was negligence. Aren't we trying to build stars, right? We got another sort of Luke Clanton situation on our hands, but we talked about this a little bit on the watch along. If there's one person who I would switch with in golf right now, it might be Jackson Koivin.
Straight up.
You're going to the PGA Tour. You get to play the USAM at Olympic Club next week. You get to play the Walker Cup at Cypress. Then you get to go back to Auburn, which is a pretty damn cool place. He won back-to-back SEC individual championships, the first person to do that since 1979, and he did it in his freshman and sophomore year. It's good to be Jackson Koivin right now. It's a dog mentality. Going out there, you're playing against a bunch of pros who are all very motivated to make the playoffs, and you dust basically all of them.
If you were a fraternity at Auburn, stay away from Jackson Koiven, okay? Don't corrupt him. And
leave our golden child alone. Leave our golden child alone.
Let him grind.
Whatever's working at Auburn, let's just keep it going at Auburn. Jackson, you know, there's that new bar that opened. Don't go.
Don't screw this up.
Don't screw this up. You've got a great thing going. Okay, so Jackson Koiven is our dog of the week. Fantastic dog of the week. Actually, a runaway. I would say. I mean, last week it's gonna be hard to ever equal Jonathan Keane of LaHinch
beautiful
as probably our best dog of the week. And we are going to do a year-end award show after the Tour Championship where we hand out like our dog of the year and we do like our favorite chirp of the year. Jonathan Keane is in the pole position to win that award.
Yeah, he's in pole position.
But a great effort from Jackson Koiven. All right, we're gonna do Ask Dan. We wanted to do Ask Dan and Alan. We typically do this with Alan Shipnuck, but Alan Shipnuck is on a vacation with his kids, so he's probably miserable. But we're gonna do Ask Dan, and we're gonna start with Chris Riley. Chris Riley asks, why do you think YouTube golf works so well? We don't see anything like it really from the other major sports like baseball, football, hockey, or basketball. YouTube channels taking off. The reason is golf is a medium for conversation and for personality. It's the same reason that people play golf and don't play basketball. It's because you can do it without sweating, right? So you can be in a competition and not be like out of breath. Anyone can play together. You don't have to match up, skill levels. So you can get, Robbie Berger playing golf with Neil Shipley, and one of them is a 15 handicap and one of them is a tour player, and they can have a competition and banter with each other. But I think it's just the nature of golf. I really do. I think it's, we're seeing everybody, not just YouTubers, but everyone plays golf on YouTube now. Like everyone can film themselves playing golf. It's beautiful outside, right? Like, what a baseball field looks like, right? Like it's going to be about 350 feet to one fence and 400 to the middle, and they all kind of look the same. Golf courses all look different. The grasses are different. You can fly drones on the golf. It's a beautiful experience. People play golf in their own life, so they feel like it's like a parasocial relationship where they kind of feel like they're in the foursome. It's just the nature of our sport that I think lends itself really well.
This gave me an idea though. Remember the And One mixtapes from back in the day?
Course,
there should be YouTube like basketball. Like,
I'm sure there is in some capacity.
They could fly drones there. They could have you edit it afterward, all the like banter and shit talk. Like,
yeah,
think about that.
I'm sure it exists. Okay. Brandon Bryan asks, over or under 9.5 majors for Scotty when it's all said and done? It's a tough one. I got caught up in the Rory McIlroy love fest after the Masters, and I said his over-under was 9, and I don't like that pick anymore. But Scotty's a different beast, as we've talked about. He's got 4 right now, but I'm going to say under. Because, Ben, do you know how many players have won 10 major championships?
3?
3. Do you know who they are?
Jack Nicklaus.
Yep.
Tiger Woods.
Yep. And Walter Hagen. Okay. That's it. That's the list. So every other golfer, you have Ben Hogan, Seve Ballesteros, Arnold Palmer, Tom Watson. None of these guys got to 10. And I'm not saying that Scotty's not going to go down as a top 10 player of all time, because I think he probably will. But 10 majors is just literally only 3 guys. There's been 1,000 guys who have won PGA Tour events now. Only 3 players have won 10 major championships.
I'm taking that over because I don't know that we'll see another person that could actually, I would feel like taking the over on that.
You take over 9.5 with a gun to your head.
He has 4 now.
With a big AR-15 to your head.
Yeah, I would. I think he has longevity.
Amazing. Okay. Dave asks, what does women's golf need to get more viewers? The Women's Open was hardly advertised other than Charlie Hull. Most of the ladies at the top are unknown. Do they just not market themselves well enough? They need stars, and they don't really have any. So Nelly Korda's reign as the #1 player in the world is over. Gino Titicul is now #1 in the world. Gino Titicul, I'm sure, is very famous in Thailand. Doesn't have a lot of name recognition here. I mean, we talked about the ones who won the majors this year. What was it? Mao Saigo. Look at the list. Mao Saigo, Maya Stark, Minji Lee, Grace Kim, and Miyu Yamashita. Some of the names that pop off, that jump off the screen there, just didn't perform in the major championships this year. They need stars, and I think everyone was kind of pulling for Charlie Hull to win for that reason. She's a star, but they need some of the bigger names to start winning tournaments. And we had Beth Ann on last week, and she said, a lot of the best players in women's golf are from Asia, and they're very, very popular in Asia, but they're just not in the United States. And the United States is the big golf market, and we live in the United States, so we need some American stars to start winning major championships.
I think we should talk about them more, probably. I think people should look into who the players are a little bit more. I mean, this person that won a major yesterday, she won 13 times on the Japanese LPGA Tour in 4 years. Like, she's like the Scotty Scheffler of the Japanese LPGA Tour. If we knew that going into it, you might want to watch her play this tournament. So I think we can drum up a lot more excitement about this, and like, because Gino Titicul is awesome. Like, she has a great personality. We just don't know enough about her yet. So like, let's.
Well, it's a big, Craig Kessler, the new LPGA commissioner. Right. This is a big thing for him. Okay, Andrew Hutchman asks, rough year for my guy Max Homa. How can he turn it around for next season? I would suggest a new caddy, new golf clubs, and a new swing coach. Next one, JP that was a joke. That's what he did last year. JP asks, is Happy Gilmore 2 targeting at making fun of Liv? Did those Liv players agree to the jabs and just wanted a paycheck? 2, are you in the internet invitational field? I'll answer the second question first. No. First one, yeah, absolutely. I thought Maxi Golf was a joke on Liv Golf. And if I'm Liv Golf, I don't love seeing Bryson and Brooks are just like in on the joke. It's almost like, sometimes I talk about like the two beer hypothesis, right? Like, what would these people actually say after 2 beers? And I feel like with the Maxi Golf was sort of like a look into like what we might get after 2 beers.
2 beers, Bryson's like, yeah, all this stuff's corny.
You know what I'm saying?
Brooks thinks that stuff's cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's like after 2 beers, like, is Brooks, like, does he agree with sort of the Maxi Golf take? I don't know. Kevin Chambers. How come the PGA doesn't play more in the Midwest? Chicagoland is great for golf and would get huge crowds. Not would, did. The BMW in Chicago was electric, and it's a abomination that it's not there anymore. I mean, our 3 final weeks in August, right? It's the hottest part of the year. Let's go, and I'd love to be a fly on the wall of Brian Roloff, the new PGA Tour CEO or Strategic Sports Group. They're getting in there and they're talking to the tour brass, and they're like, okay, we got 3 final weeks of the year. We're gonna go to New York. Nah. Okay, let's Chicago. No. How about LA? It's really nice enough. No. Memphis. Baltimore. We're going to Memphis, Baltimore, and Atlanta. And it's no disrespect to those 3 cities. But in August, that's where we're going. These events, if we were starting from scratch, they should be in like
Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah, somewhere beautiful where it's like awesome in August. Like, I thought it was cool when they had the BMW. I still think it should be in Chicago, but Denver was cool last year. Castle
Wisconsin's
Pines
got some great golf.
Like, I just think we can do a lot better than Memphis, Baltimore, and Atlanta. And I understand Memphis is where FedEx is based, and Atlanta is, where Coca-Cola is based, and there's reasons that these move around because of sponsors. But hopefully the Strategic Sports Group getting in, like, we can sort of have a new voice in there, and like I think the playoffs would have a lot more juice if it was like LA, Chicago, New York.
Appeasing partners is good for business, but so is appeasing the audience.
The fan, well, Brian Roloff always says, like, the fan is most important, the product is most important. It's hard for me to believe that Memphis, Baltimore, and Atlanta is the best that we can do from a product perspective. Great questions today in the Ask Dan segment. I'd like to give a special thanks to Zone nicotine pouches for all that they do. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Underage sale prohibited. Ben knows that I always have them in my bag. When I need to dial things in on the course, I go with Zone nicotine pouches. They have a stronger nic intensity. The others aren't even close. They have better flavors. They last longer, and they're more comfortable than any other pouch out there. My go-to is a 6 milligram wintergreen, even though I've been using the mints recently. Ben, what's your go-to right now?
Dragon fruit all day.
Yeah, dragon fruit. It's nice.
Can't
tropical.
stop.
I've talked about this before. They make 7 flavors. I've talked about this before. They make 7 flavors in both 6 and 9 milligrams. The big game changer, they have 20 pouches per can versus the other guys who offer 15. So more bang for your buck. I mean, if you want more, I won't play 18 with at least 1 can of Zone in my bag. If you want Zone pouches at a discount and mailed right to your door, head to nicokick.com, N-I-C-O, kick, K-I-C-K.com, N-I-C-O-K-I-C-K.com, and enter code DanOnGolf20 at checkout for an additional 20% off. Okay. Chirps from the Gallery. We talked about that. We're going to have an end of the year award show. This next one here has a very good chance of winning Chirp of the Year. Trying to aim point to split the G.
That's amazing.
On the Guinness. And I was in Ireland for so long, and I drank so many Guinnesses, and I never came up with this.
I know. This is the joke that you're jealous that you didn't come up with.
It's such a good joke. It's just such a good joke. Split the G, by the way. It's a new thing. It feels like it's taken on new life.
It's modern. Yeah.
It's definitely modern, and I'm just upset that I didn't come up with trying to aim point my Guinness. Speaking of aim point, now we're aim pointing drives. Let's see this from the... Fuck this. We're aim pointing tee shots now?
Is she waving to somebody or is she aiming?
I think she's aim pointing, and I don't really understand what's going on there because it's about, like, the difference in your feet. Maybe she's just used to seeing, like, that's how she's used to seeing golf shots. Didn't love that. Tom Brady kind of went back at Scotty Scheffler. So Scotty had that, we played it, a version or a clip of that answer where he's talking about, how golf is not fulfilling and it's not the most important thing in his life. And he said, I would much rather be a great father than I would be a great golfer. Tom Brady said, why are those mutually exclusive? And didn't we have another one where someone had a comment about what they thought about that? Basically, like taking advice from Tom Brady on family dynamics. Maybe not the thing that Scotty Scheffler should be doing. A
man with 6 Super Bowls who walked away from Giselle for a 7th.
Yeah, and his first wife, or he had a baby with another woman.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so. I'm Team Scotty on that
Scotty's
one.
good.
LeBron James. I guess the kids aren't doing so well in his school. Not one 8th grade student at LeBron James. I guess not one 8th grade student at the LeBron James Akron School has passed the state math test in 3 years. And Club Pro guy says, and not one of my students has ever won a major. At some point you got to start putting the blame on the kids. you got to get it done. You can lead a man to fish, but it's hard to make him actually fish. I don't know if that's the right metaphor. Cam Young. This was a great anecdote from a friend of a program, Willie Wilcox. Solid Cam Young moment from the Hero last December. Steve Sands walks up marveling at a Cam Young driver strike on the range and said, just once in my life, I want to experience what that feels like. Cam looks back and blankly says, relax, Steve. It's not as cool as you think it is. That is a perfect Cam Young anecdote. Next Cam Young one, he finally got it done. And there he is with the Kobe, I think that's Kobe, yeah, with the Larry O'Brien trophy. Cam Young's got the Wyndham trophy. It was really fun being on Golf Twitter yesterday and seeing all these Cam Young takes. And then Cam Young sort of no longer a target for the online betting community, but they move on. They move on to the next ones. Let's show our next one. Sounds like it's Nico now. I am legally obliged to permanently remove Cam Young from the blacklist with this win. Luckily, a nice Colombian man has volunteered to take his spot. Nico Echeverria, go sit over there next to Eric Cole and Rico Hoey, buddy. Just targets from the online gambling community. A strong week on Golf Twitter as usually. We're gonna leave you with our clip of the week, you golf sickos. We love you so much. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. We're also going to do a Wednesday stream, so join us for Wednesday this week. But it's a ChatGPT clip because this is a ChatGPT show. It's Blades Brown talking about how he picks his outfits. And I know you wanted this, before we roll this clip, I know you wanted to say something.
Yes, Blades, call us, man. Raym Williams, a.k.a. Golf Projects, and I are ready to go shopping with you. Don't rely on ChatGPT. We love it for so many things, like telling us how many individual winners have won on the PGA Tour or how many majors somebody has come in second in. When it comes to getting dressed, come to us, man. We got you.
Our clip of the week, Blades Brown. He's 17 years old, or maybe he's 18 now, I don't know, but he's trying to get used to playing pro golf, and maybe he just doesn't have time to pick out his outfits. So we're going to roll that in a second. Again, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We love all of you golf sickos so much. We'll leave you with our clip of the week.
I try to dress myself appropriately for occasions, and I'd almost run out of ideas with just some of the clothes that I have. And so I went to Old Faithful, I went to ChatGPT, and I said, hey, I have these colors, help me figure out a color customization. And so this is a ChatGPT inspired outfit right here. So I think ChatGPT is super helpful. It's definitely a tool. I'm not saying, go use it on your school assignments, but it does help. I wouldn't say like the copy and paste part is valid, but it's a tool. And if you know how to use it right, it's definitely super helpful. So if you have any questions with your wardrobe, go to ChatGPT.